And showtime, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of the ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. My name is Rich Freeman. I am executive editor of the ChannelPro Network and one of your hosts on this program. With me, as always, is my co-host, Erick Simpson, who is a business improvement and transformation consultant for MSPs and other IT providers. And he's looking all spruced up and sitting in somebody's office today. Erick, where are you?
I'm on the East Coast. I'm in New York City, Rich, with one of my clients this week.
And you got to wear a tie in New York. That's just the way it is.
Well, you know, if I'm going to be impotent, I'm going to look impotent.
There you go. Yeah, a bonus tip of the week, folks. You can file that one away. So let's dive into the news here this week. Now, I was approached earlier on, a few days back, by the folks at Kaseya, letting me know that they were going to have a press release coming out this week in which they touted some impressive growth numbers from 2018. That is not typically the kind of story that we report on, actually, at ChannelPro. We just don't kind of have bandwidth to report on something like that. It tends to be more exciting to the vendors than our readers anyway. But I did grab the opportunity to interview Fred Vacola, the CEO of Kaseya, in this case, because it's always interesting speaking with him, and I usually come away from the conversation knowing more about something interesting and relevant than I did going in. And a few things came up, actually, in this conversation. So first of all, as folks who've been keeping track of Kaseya know, 2018 was a huge year for them in terms of acquisitions. Over the course of the year, they bought Unitrends, a BDR vendor. They bought Rapid Fire Tools, who makes security and compliance solutions. They bought a cloud-to-cloud backup company called Spanning. And then the big one, which became public information in December, was that they had purchased IT Glue. So lots of acquisitions last year as they build out their IT Complete platform and try to embed as many different capabilities and services within it as possible. And according to Fred Vacola of Kaseya, there are more acquisitions coming in 2019, at least 3 over the course of the year. He couldn't obviously be much more specific than that, except to say that one of them would be in the realm of line of business software for MSPs, sort of like an IT Glue kind of solution, something that an MSP will use to run their business. There will be an acquisition somewhere in the security and compliance realm again. So they did Rapid Fire Tools last year. They've got another security/compliance company joining the family in 2019. And then some kind of cloud management buy is coming up as well. A couple of years back, they bought a company called Unigma that does cloud management. They're going to be adding some more capabilities there. And then the other interesting thing that came up, generally speaking, if you ask the CEO of a company that is owned by private equity like Kaseya about the possibility of an IPO, they just wave you off, which is kind of what you expect. But I asked the question anyway, because you never know what you might learn along the way. And in this case, the answer that I got from Fred indicates pretty clearly, without getting too specific about it, that there is an IPO in the works. He basically said that in the, and I'm paraphrasing closely here, he said that in the relative near term, Kaseya will be a public company. So we don't know what the timing is on that. It sure doesn't sound like a 2020, 2021 kind of a deal. There could be an IPO coming at some point this year, Erick.
Yeah, you know, Rich, I wouldn't be surprised if we hear some other IPO rumblings from other folks. As you know, we've been reporting pretty consistently over the last year or so of a few key players in the industry that have been on a tear from an acquisition perspective. So it's really interesting to see everyone kind of jockeying for position to build out what they feel is the best offering to support their existing partners and attract new partners. So it wouldn't surprise me to hear, you know, other IPO news in the future for 2019, 2020 timeframe.
So quick take in the time we've got available here as a former MSP and an MSP consultant. Does the idea that Kaseya is pursuing of building out this IT Complete platform into a truly end-to-end kind of platform with tightly integrated and embedded capabilities, does that sound like something that's smart for MSPs to be looking into, or is best of breed potentially just as good an approach?
It's absolutely very attractive. I mean, as any business owner, that's trying to build a strategic organization understands, the closer we get to, a simple set of tools and a single pane of glass, one operating system to run the company by, the more effective, efficient we become, the easier we have the ability to report analytics and data that allow us to make much more rapid decisions that move the needle for the organization. So, we see similar strategies from ConnectWise trying to put together, an ecosystem that allows their partners to really function within their ecosystem and their platform to operate their businesses as well. So no, it's absolutely an attractive strategy, and having Kaseya position itself this way really sets the stage for an aggressive push toward partner acquisition. And of course, as those partner numbers grow and those revenue numbers grow and valuation begins to tick up, just certainly helps the IPO strategy.
Okay, interesting stuff. And we've said it before, we'll say it again. Kaseya is going to be a vendor to keep an eye on, and a story to continue monitoring. But let's get into the official tip of the week. We've already given people an extra tip of the week, but why don't you give them another one, which has to do with keeping in touch with or communicating with folks on your team.
Right. So this week's tip of the week is all about creating opportunities for you to gather objective, candid feedback from your employees. So as a matter of fact, I'm here for 2 days at a client's location in New York where we are doing just that. We're spending 2 full days meeting with each individual business unit and its staff in order to get their feedback about what their challenges are in being successful in their personal roles, what challenges they see in their departments, and then also their ideas for improvement. And we're getting some really, really great feedback, and it's informing our strategic positioning for 2019, and it allows us to really prioritize things that we may not have been completely aware of or may not have prioritized quite so highly without having these types of insights from our teams. Because as you well know, Rich, once we sell a service to our clients that's an ongoing type of subscription service, such as managed services or cloud services or managed security services, the only way to really increase margin after that agreement is sold during the term of the agreement is to increase our efficiencies in delivering those services. So these types of opportunities and these meetings are key to giving us that insight that may elude us from just looking at report from our systems and platforms. And it's really a great opportunity to give our staff the opportunity to feel that they have a voice in the direction of the organization, and they have influence over our decision making, and get them invested in the change process that typically will occur after these meetings, because they feel like they had a hand in crafting that decision in that direction.
Yeah, especially in the realm of cloud computing, there are so many services that are kind of set it and forget it kinds of options. I mean, it's so easy basically to get out of the habit of being in a regular dialogue, with the client and about the client, and it can lead to complacency basically.
Right, and it's important to include every member of the team when we do this. We certainly don't want anyone to feel disenfranchised and things like that. So scheduling is really important. You don't want to schedule it when folks are on vacation or PTO and things like that, and then lose the opportunity for them to feel like they have the ability to contribute and things like that. I know it's tough, in some cases, and the larger the organizations tend to grow, it becomes even more difficult. But maybe you could schedule it, business unit by business unit around everyone's availability and knock it out that way.
All right. Well, very good advice as usual, Eric. Thank you for that. We've got time for just one more story here. And Obviously I write for a living. There are far more lucrative things, generally speaking, that you can do in the IT industry than write about it. I'll tell you that. But now and again, every now and again, it turns out that being able to write could potentially pay off for you. And that's very much the case in terms of the story we're talking about here, which involves a woman getting on in years. She owns a $1.7 million mansion in Alberta, Canada. Can't really take care of it anymore the way she wants to, so she'd like to give it to somebody else, find a good owner for it. And she has decided to do that. Basically, she's going to be giving that $1.7 million home to whoever wins an essay writing contest. So for a $25 entry fee, you can send her an essay about why you should get the house. And if you're the winning entry, you get the $1.7 million home. So, advantage me, Eric. I actually bring writing skills to this task.
Something tells me she's going to make out on this deal, Rich. I don't know about you, but my math, I'm just wondering how many people are submitting that $25 entry fee. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. It is kind of ingenious, isn't it? Well, that is all the time we've got this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. Thank you very much for joining us. If you like the show, you'd like to keep up on forthcoming episodes we're going to be doing for you in the future, take a look maybe at some of the episodes we did in the past that you didn't get a chance to see, then what you want to do is subscribe to the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube, and you'll get all that information that way. You want to read more about companies like Kaseya and business growth strategies for MSPs and VARs, go to channelpronetwork.com every day. We've got news, information, business insights, and growth strategies for you there all week long. To learn more about Erick and his company and the work that he does with his clients, go to www.ericksimpson.com. That's ERICK Simpson.com, and you'll get all the information you're looking for. That is it for us this week. We will be back next week with another episode of the 5-Minute Roundup. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Erick and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.